Also, for those listening to YouTube, welcome, because we just started the recording.
Yeah, my bad.
Because my dumb ass forgot. I completely forgot.
I was like clicking everything. I was like, I'm forgetting. Oh crap.
Yeah, there's something here that we need to do, and that was it. So Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, one of the smartest quarterbacks of all time, has retired officially in a press meeting on Monday. He officially announced his retirement, thanking everybody and addressing the media. And Zach, I just wanted to get your take on Peyton Manning's retirement and his career as an entirety.
It's a shame that he has to retire. It's something that we all saw coming in a way, though, especially how he performed and whatnot. To me, when it comes to Peyton Manning, he set the standard for what it is to be, I think, a true pocket passer and a guy that could read defense. Like, when you were playing against him, you didn't know what you were going to get. You knew that anytime he could read your defense and just change it up on the fly. Yes, he does have the greatest playoff record because he holds a record for like most playoff losses, which is something I don't think anyone would ever want. But that to me that also shows the consistency he had. That he was in the playoffs 13 times. More than 13 times, 15 times when you think about it. It's like that shows how consistent he was. He really didn't have a bad season until this last season. It's because of his age and his injuries. He was the pinnacle of, how to be a good player on and off the field, how to be respectable, how to be consistent, and all that stuff. And that's going to be something that's going to be sorely missed. I'm curious to see what the Broncos are going to do now, but he's a definite first ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely, zero question in my mind. He's way up there, and like some people said, if he's not the greatest quarterback of all time, he's certainly in the team picture.
I would definitely put him in my top 5. I still think Young and Montana were, I think, better, but he's definitely, I think, the first great like modern quarterback. Like for our he's the quarterback. He's our Joe Montana. Like for our generation, like everyone talks about Joe Montana, Steve Young. It's like we never got to saw him play, but we got to see Peyton Manning play, and he was just always fantastic. So
exactly, and truly miraculous what he did after that injury. 4 neck surgeries, and in the offseason, people or during that season where he was out, people say he couldn't throw the ball 15 yards. It was incredible to see how he came back from that terrible surgery and all those physical limitations that he had, and he ended up throwing for 5,000 yards, winning MVP, comeback player of the year before that. And
let's be honest, he also had one of the greatest rivalries with Tom Brady,
Yes.
And again, it's that Young and Montana thing, they had that great rivalry, so. And
he mentioned that in his press conference. He said, one of the things I'm gonna miss the most is handshakes with Tom Brady after the game, going up against Bill Belichick, Teddy Bruschi, all those great Patriots players in Gillette Stadium. That is really one of the storied rivalries. It's Magic and Bird. It's just one of the greatest all-time sports rivalries between individual players. I think
I agree.
in the history of sports. Definitely two all-time greats there.
Mm.
But rest in peace, Peyton Manning. You will be sorely missed.
Your career will be missed.
It is unfortunate though that the way he had to go out, because his physical skill set deteriorated so heavily, and there was really no place for him to play anymore. Even he still obviously has the desire to play, like he loves the game and the process.
And it's like he's a true living legend, and he shows some flashes of greatness in the Super Bowl and whatnot. But let's be honest, the Broncos were reportedly getting ready to move on from him. And there are a lot of teams that could use a great quarterback like Manning, but you have to figure they would probably only put him in the backup role for him to like mentor their new guy and whatnot. So you had to figure Payne was probably like, that's it.
They effectively had moved on from him, and the only reason he came back was because the team as a whole was playing poorly. Not Brock Osweiler, he was playing fine.
Yeah,
but the team was playing poorly.
They needed that
leadership.
San
Diego, and Peyton Manning comes in, throws a touchdown, or doesn't throw a touchdown rather, but leads the offense to a couple scores. To take it over San Diego in a critical game.
I agree.
So, yes, Peyton Manning, sorely missed. It is unfortunate the circumstances, because you never want to see a player's retirement effectively forced like that. Yeah. But nevertheless, the 18 years that preceded certainly don't. They're certainly amazing. They're amazing.
Okay, let's talk about Calvin Johnson, Megatron. He retired.
Yeah, and lost in the midst of that is Calvin Johnson retiring after. He's only 30.
9 years. 9 years in the league. That's it.
He's younger than Barry Sanders was when he retired. Yeah. So the poor Detroit Lions, unfortunately, have been unable to keep the greatest 2 players in their franchise's history for very long. But that's the past. Those are retired players. Let's talk about
the current players.
Let's talk about players in the NFL. And specifically, let's talk about players that are not currently on the teams that they maybe should be. So the Cleveland Browns have been drowning for
years,
decades. Maybe drowning is not the right word. They've been dehydrated. They've been in the middle of a quarterback desert.
Yeah,
with
for like
with no sign of feasible play whatsoever,
so
except for oddly enough Josh McCown for a couple of games last year.
He was actually kind of good.
He was
like,
really
oh, that's
good
it. And it's
for
like
a couple
nope,
games last year
because he got injured, right? And then they put Manziel in.
And then Money Manziel comes in, but Josh McCown threw a couple 300-yard games. So
that was pretty good.
Yeah, but obviously he is not the long-term answer.
Nope.
They're going to have to find, or at least try to find, somebody who is, whether that is through free agency, the draft, a trade of some sort. Zachary Pickett, with that in mind, knowing that Kirk Cousins and Sam Bradford have now been locked up, and there are a couple of quarterbacks that are free agents and are maybe on the trading block for some teams, a la Nick Foles, and then considering the draft, tell me right now, with your future seeing powers, where are the Browns going with their quarterback problem?
I don't know, because
neither do they. So I can't fault you too much.
The first thing I think of is obviously the draft, and again, there's all been the talk about the kid from North Dakota State who is a unbelievable quarterback. I could see that happening. At the same time, though, too, it's this is a relatively, these past couple of quarterback classes, okay, not last year's class, but like this quarterback class is going to be like kind of relatively weak. Kind of reminds me of like the 2013 class. 2014 class really didn't, have any like big pop stars, that you thought would be there. In my eyes, I see it like this: either they go with a young kid, there's your franchise right there, or to me, drum up some excitement in the fan base. I would say go and get RG3. The thing with RG3 is this. Yes, he's not your traditional quarterback. But let's be honest, though, here. He kind of his career got screwed by Mike Shanahan when he got injured in his leg. Shanahan still had him play, and then he really, really, really screwed up his leg.
Yes.
That is a fault on Shanahan. That's not on Robert Griffin. If he were to get a good coaching staff that could help him out, he does have some problems. Like he does. The thing with that limited leg now, he can't really run anymore. So now he has to transition from a running quarterback like your Vic, your Mariota, your Winston, to now your more traditional pocket passer a la Brady and Manning. If he were to get a proper staff that could help him out with the transition, help him beat some defenses, he could be a good starter. He showed those flashes of greatness in his first season.
Rookie of the year. He showed some flashes of greatness in that first season with the Redskins. Like I said, usually you do see some teams sign some guys just to kind of be like, look who we just got, holy crap. And I feel like the Browns I'd say the Browns are either draft or RG3. I don't see them going with anyone else. I think it's a good point you make about Robert Griffin and the fact that he has been handicapped now. Like, if you asked Michael Vick in his prime, if you asked 2006 Michael Vick, hey, don't run.
Yeah.
Like he's an average passer, maybe below average quarterback. And I think the same could probably be said for Robert Griffin III if you take that element away from him. But he certainly has, like we said, he has absolutely plenty of talent. It's whether he can utilize that talent. Coaching staff said he had a lot of fundamental issues that he had to work out. Let's see if he can get those figured out. But he obviously has talent and skill and ability.
Yeah. I would say, I think, especially for him, taking a year off from football I hope that really helped out his leg. But B, though, I mean, honestly, I think he should make that transition to someone, honestly, I'm thinking along the lines of Ben Roethlisberger, who's a great pocket passer. He can make some passes on the run, and if he has to, he'll run the ball itself. But Ben's not a fast dude, but he'll still get you those 5-6 yards that you might need because of just how big he is.
Right.
Robert Griffin has the exact opposite, where he's not necessarily a big guy, but he can bolt. And if he can work on his speed and whatnot, get back to where he was when he was at Baylor, or again in his first year at the Redskins, I think he'd be a good starter.
It might end up helping him because all of his injuries came from runs where he refused to slide and did that whole let me spin through the air a la Emperor Palpatine. Episode 6 where I'm just going to do a spiral and cut through the air like that, and then oops, there's Terrell Suggs busting my kneecap open. But yeah, it might end up helping him in the long run if he can learn to play from the pocket. But of course, he would have to then learn to play from the pocket.
Yeah, I agree.
My opinion is that they should pursue somebody through the either free agency or the draft, because you like Jared Goff. He's a pro-ready guy. He's got a lot of talent, but we've seen draft talent that we've said, wow, that's a really great quarterback.
And they weren't.
And they ended up not being. They've drafted a ton of quarterbacks in the first round, and none of them have worked out.
The one thing I'm worried about when it comes to Cleveland is just that they have a new staff, which is both a positive and a negative. New staff means, hey, if we bring in a new quarterback, we can like possibly train him up. You know, like if he's a current guy in the NFL, okay, you know, we'll have to adjust him. You know, we'll have to have him adjust to our system and whatnot, but it could work. And then it's like, well, if it's a draft guy, we can just draft the guy that works in our system, and then, you know, he'll transition kind of nicely. At the same time, though, it's a new staff, and that means they may not have that much experience, or, you know, usually when you get things like this, like Cleveland, it's you're cobbling together guys that may not have worked in other places, and they didn't work in other places. That's a bit of a bad sign, you know?
Right.
I mean, you look at, you know, James Winston, he had a good staff around him, mainly because of Lovie Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Mariota had a head coaching change halfway through the season, but he's just that good of a quarterback that, you know, he was still fine with the transition to the new system.
Yeah.
You know, so like I say, I think it really just depends on that Cleveland staff at the end of the day. If they do what the Redskins staff did under Mike Shanahan with Kim's RG3, his career's pretty much done. But if they want to get RG3 or some of the drafts, I think they could definitely change it around.
Right. Part of me thinks that they should keep Josh McCown and draft a quarterback like a Jared Goff, a guy or maybe even a Carson Wentz, the guy he think has the higher ceiling given a year and a half to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Cleveland has been the victim of being a little bit greedy the last several drafts, where they're like, ooh, we really like this guy, but we're going to start him even though he's not ready, and we know he's not ready, but we literally have no option because we kind of suck and we're bad and we have no other quarterbacks on the roster except for the ball boy.
Right?
So
well, I mean, the ball boy
we
would be
might as
better
well
at this point.
throw this guy. When the fact of the matter is that Todd McShay will tell you this, Mel Kiper will tell you this, all the draft guys will tell you this, most people are not ready to come in and play quarterback their first year. Andrew Luck is an exception. Russell Wilson and Derek Carr are exceptions. Most people are absolutely not ready to come in and play at a mediocre level.
I would say even looking at James Winston and Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
You know, but again, it's like everyone always says it's the sophomore year that shows if they're going to be quarterback ready or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, it goes back to that thing where it's like teams want to win now, and it's like if you got to start the rookie now, go ahead and start them. You know, and I think it's that kind of mentality that fails a lot of the time.
And when you have a coaching staff in Cleveland that continually gets turned over, you really don't feel like you have a lot of time security. Like you feel like I've got to win now or they're going to fire me because they fired coaches after 1 year, they fired coaches after 2 years before. I don't have a lot of time to actually make this work. They need it starts up at the top. They need organizational cohesiveness in everything that they're doing. They need to trust the coaching staff. If they hired the guy, they need to have the confidence to say, we'll give you 3 years. We think you can make it work. We're a crap team now. We don't expect to win. So let's work towards winning. Let's not win now. Let's work towards winning. That's hard for anybody to say.
See, and it's like transition that right quick into baseball, because Theo Epstein got hired on by the Cubs back in 2011. Cubs were terrible those first 3 years. Mm-hmm. But then you look at what they did last year. They made it all the way to the National League Championship Series. It's like that's what it is. You got to be patient when it comes to your staff and your coaches and your GMs and things like that. And I remember that was the one thing that annoyed me with the Cleveland Browns, is that it was the one year they had that guy who has been a huge fan of the Cleveland Browns, and he got, they hired him on. He went like I think 6-10. It was like that's actually not too bad. Mm-hmm. But Cleveland immediately fired him after the season. And it was just
Kaczynski, I think
that's it. Yeah, exactly. And
he was like, I'm so proud to coach for this Cleveland Browns team. I love this team. I'm ready to coach him up, make him a winner. And how many people do you have saying that? Right, saying, I love the Cleveland Browns.
Exactly, and that's a good point.
And I want to be here.
And like I said, it was this thing where it was like they didn't do too bad. They weren't, like I said, they were like 5-11, 6-10 or something like that. It was like, that was pretty good. Like that's how you're not. The thing I think is, like, when it comes to the NFL, and I think any other major franchise in any league, is like they expect these coaches around to do like an immediate turnaround. Like they go from like 2-20 to like they're undefeated. It's like that's not how it works.
And I liked Kaczynski a little bit. I didn't know too much about him, and honestly, I liked Mike Pettin. But unfortunately, they don't really have the patience and the ability to just wait and say, all right, let's give him another year. Mostly because of the failed Manziel experiment.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, I think that Pettin handled it probably as well as one could reasonably expect to. Like, he sat him, like he benched him when he wasn't allowed to play, and he brought in Austin Davis, who actually almost won a game for him. Austin Davis, who I love. So yeah, Cleveland has problems, I think, is the summary of
this whole segment.
This is probably the summary of our whole show.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Mostly because of all the draft talk and stuff, but I feel like every week we're just like, Cleveland Browns, not that good. Not that good of a team. All right, Zach, let's move on.
All right, what's up?
Are you ready to play some games?
I am totally up for some games.
Let's play some games.
Hey.
This is the first game we've ever played that's not just like general, like, ooh, sports talk, hardcore analysis.
Right?
We're just play a game.
I'm up for it.
This game is called Good Move, Bad Move.
I love it.
I'm going to give you a couple of either free agency moves or team moves in the NFL that have been made since our last show. And we're going to say whether that's a good move or whether that's a not-so-good move. Are you ready?
Yes, I am totally ready.
Okay. We're going to start out with your own Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I know where this is going.
The Tennessee Titans traded with the Eagles for DeMarco Murray, the running back who led the league in rushing 2 years ago when he was with the Cowboys.
Struggled last year.
Had a very bad year, to say the absolute least, with the Eagles. But he's still obviously a very talented running back. The trade is not exactly unknown or known yet what the Titans gave up, but it's supposed to be draft picks.
Yeah. So I'm thinking probably like a second or a third round pick. The Titans have like 8. They have like 8 picks in the draft, so they can get rid of a couple. Yeah.
Especially if it's for a good player. Yeah. So Zach, good move or bad move?
I love this move. Yeah. Because DeMarco Murray is he's a very good running back. The Titans need to work on their running game, and that was a big question going into this draft: is are they going to focus on the offensive line? Are they going to focus on the running back? They have now that experience at running back. That's the reason. Part A, why I like it. Part B, DeMarco Murray even said he wanted to go to Tennessee. That he loved Mariota. He loved the opportunity that was there. And I think DeMarco Murray realizes that this is a young upstart team. If they could fix a few things, they could be a contender. Because let's be honest here, the AFC South isn't necessarily a hard division. Yes, there's the Colts. Ooh. But, this is what I'm saying. There's really only the past couple years, there's only been the Colts. Titans, Texans, and Jacksonville have been kind of like muddled. I mean, yes, the Texans had that good season a couple years ago.
They're improving, but yes, very poor play across the way.
And you can even say that now about Indianapolis because they struggled. The AFC South is just pretty much a weak division, like the NFC East. They are weak divisions. You don't know what's going to happen. So there's that. Titans have fixed the running game. They're in a weak division, so they can capitalize on this. It allows them to now focus on just getting a better offensive line, which is good. They need that for protection for Mariota, and they need that for Murray. And, I mean, change of scenery would be good for Murray. And the thing is that it's just he didn't fit Chip Kelly's style. Mike Mularkey has already said, no, we'll make him fit in our system. Like, we will do everything to make sure he can fit in our system. And that means they're going to capitalize on that downhill running style that he has. You give him some room, that's it. He's done. And he's gone, and he can bash through some guys too. I think all that combined, it's a great move by Tennessee. It is.
My initial thoughts were bad move.
Really?
Well, let me say this. We don't know what they gave up. If the Titans gave up a third-round pick or a second-round pick, that's a good move. I'm sorry. If they gave up a third-round pick or less, that's a good move. If they gave up a second-round pick, that's still a good move. If they give up a first-round pick or any combination of like second and a fourth or something like that, I think it's a bad move. Because my initial thought was they can draft, somebody, Larry Tunsil, for example, offensive lineman in the first round because they had the first overall pick.
That's what they're going to do.
That seems to be the lock at this point. And then with second round, they might be able to draft a running back like Ezekiel Elliott. But in the recent couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of mocks that have him going as high at the highest I've seen him is 10. But normally I've seen him around 20, 22.
Couple of the playoff teams.
Yeah, around about in that area. So I don't even know if he'll make it out of the first. He shouldn't, and he probably won't. But I don't know if he's gonna make it there. And that's what my initial thought was: is that they could pick up Zeke Elliott in the second. But I'm fine if spending a second round pick on a good running back.
Yeah, that's the thing. DeMarco Murray he's a really good running back. He has proven he's a good running back. He just needs to be in the right system. I think, like I said, Malarkey, I think his stuff will do their best to be like, okay, no, we'll cater our system to you because we need that running game. It's having an established running game is still important in the NFL. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, it's about the quarterback nowadays, but you still need that run game. And I think having an experienced running back like Murray, I think just will help out the entire offense in general. Because you look at there were really no senior members on the offense. On the offense for the Tennessee at all. Yes. There weren't. You had a couple of rookie wide receivers and like one or two older guys. You had an offensive line that was mainly rookies or like first, second, third year players. You had Marcus Mariota, and you had even the two guys they had, Brian. Oh God, I can't remember the running back's names.
Bishop Sankey.
Sankey, yeah.
He was my best rated running back in that draft. Don't talk to me about it, but he was.
But I mean, like, he's so good running back going on, but it's still like there's no real veteran establishment on that offense, and Murray gives you that. So,
a couple of notes before we move on. If we expect everything to go as planned, next year we have Delaney Walker, DeMarco Murray, a growing Marcus Mariota, Laramie Tunsil, who's a very good offensive lineman and could be a leader on that line.
They still have Chance Warmack from Alabama.
Exactly.
He's a good center.
That's the makings of a good offense. You have running back, wide receiver, tight end.
And let's not forget
running back, wide receiver, quarterback, and offensive lineman.
And about to say, going with wide receiver, they have
Dorial Green Beckham, who's got a hell of a lot of talent.
I keep on calling him Odell Green Beckham. I'm like, no, that's not it. Like, no, it's like, shut up. All right. Yeah, but I mean, like, having a guy like him as your wide receiver, you get a good number 2.
Exactly.
That could be this could be a really potent offense. This could.
You think worst to first next year?
I don't think that. I think middle ground, just like upper middle ground. Like, I think it'll take a year for them to click and whatnot, but I wouldn't be shocked that I'd say in the next 2 or 3 years you'd see the Titans like top 10 in offense. I wouldn't be shocked at that.
I think they have the makings of a great establishment there.
I agree.
Kirk Cousins was given the franchise tag by the Washington Redskins. That will put his number for this year at just over $19 million. So, Zach, good move or bad move?
I mean, if you're the Redskins, you'd rather have him under a contract instead of just a 1-year deal. Well, again, because the franchise tag is 1 year, so I'm just gonna say 1-year deal. You'd rather have him under a longer contract instead of just for the 1 year that the franchise tag provides. He had a good season. He really turned around the end of the season. They let go of RG3, which shows that they have confidence. And Kirk Cousins shows confidence too. He shows that he's very he has a lot of energy and whatnot. If he can translate that over to this season, but for the full season, that's the problem I have with Kirk Cousins. He has a consistency problem. I'm thinking though maybe not many changes to the staff. Maybe Kirk could turn around. I think this is a good move. Is he gonna be like the greatest quarterback in Redskins history? I don't know. I mean, he did break some records last year. I do think, though, I think this is a good move because they at least have now a base if they, to start getting more pieces. Like, it's already good. The Redskins offense is actually pretty good when you look at it. But with Kirk Cousins now franchise tagged, they have a couple other guys around. They can just build on it. They could win the East. I like the move.
I'm going to say bad move.
You think so?
Because I think you need to lock him up for a deal that's a little bit less than that per year, but you get more years out of it. Because Kirk Cousins, to me, he looked really good last year. Like towards the tail end of the season.
Yeah, I was at the tail end of the season.
The last 10 games, when he finally, got it together, really grasped the offense. And more importantly, he took command of the huddle. Like if you watched any of the Kirk Cousins mic'd up kind of stuff, like he's out there, like that's his team. And it all started with that. You like that? Like he's got so much energy. He's jumping around. He's greeting guys. He reminds me of a young Brett Favre. He's just playing with so much energy.
I still love when Green Bay beat him, and the other one Green Bay player come back saying, "Yeah, you guys like that?
You like that?"
I was like, "Oh, that's a burn."
But yeah, Kirk Cousins. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he can be the Redskins quarterback moving forward. And I do like that.
I do agree that they overpaid him, but it's like. But at the same time, it's like, you weren't probably going to do anything RG3. You needed to lock him up.
Right.
It's a move out of necessity that it's like, you have to figure, depending on how everything goes this season, they might be able to get him for a long contract for less money, depending on how it goes. If they do have a bad season, if he does have a bad season, you have to figure A, the Redskins will just move on, or B, they'll say, hey, we do want to keep you around because we see potential, but you're not worth what you think you are. Yes, there was some teams that will overpay for you, but let's be real here. You like the staff here and whatnot. You like how it is here. We're going to give you the money that we think you're worth.
To me, with my future seeing eye, I see bad things for the Redskins because Kirk Cousins goes on to have a great season. He throws 35 touchdowns, roundabouts, and 4,000 yards. Wins the East. They go to the playoffs. Maybe they win a game. Maybe they lose a game. I don't know, but he plays well.
He's going to make like $20 million.
Yeah, and then the Redskins have to pay him $20 million a year now instead of $19 million for the franchise tag, or like $15 million a year that they could have had him on this year.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. If he has a good season, it's going to be $20 million a year. If it's a bad season,
it's that simple.
15. That's just what it is. So I mean, you have to figure that it's like, in a way, the Redskins like, yeah, we want to have a great season. And it's like, let's hope to God Kirk has a bad season.
Yeah. Next up.
Yeah.
The Houston Texans have opted to pursue Brock Osweiler in free agency. The Broncos reportedly offered him a 3-year, $45 million deal. We don't know how much it was guaranteed and how much of it was incentive-based, but they did offer him that deal. And he's now looking at the Houston Texans. They're having talks.
Who's the Texans' current quarterback?
Brian Hoyer. So, from the Texans' point of view, good move or bad move to pursue Brock Osweiler this free agency?
How long has Brian Hoyer been in the league? He's been in the league for like a couple years now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a journeyman.
Yeah. It's a good and a bad move. It's both. It's good because if you do get him, you can have Hoyer kind of mentor him in a way. You can ease him into the system instead of throwing him in like with Peyton at Denver. That's what they did. They eased Brock into it because Peyton was the one that was taking on snaps and whatnot. And I mean, Brock did play well. Let's be honest. Brock Osweiler did play well. He doesn't have that leadership quality though that you need in your quarterback. He doesn't, and that's one thing that we talked about. How it was, he started to struggle. And the whole offense struggled. And they had to put in Manning, and Manning turned the whole offense around. You need a quarterback like that at your franchise that will just be able to turn everything around or just keep it all together in a way instead of being like, oh, if one fails and we all fail. No, you got to find the quarterback that can actually keep him up. I'd say at the end of the day, I mean, Hoyer did good last year. I mean, they made it to the playoffs. I mean, yes, they lost, but still, Houston made it to the playoffs with Hoyer under center. I would say at the end of the day, I think it's a bad move. I would say, you know what, you can stay at Denver.
I think it's a good move by the Houston Texans because
we're just on opposite ends today.
a little bit. But that's good. We get some healthy discussion out of it. I think it's a bad. I think it's a good move by the Houston Texans because there is really nobody that you. There's nobody else really that you can get because you're not sticking with Brian Hoyer. You need to go after Brock Osweiler because.
I mean, have they said they're not going to stick with Brian Hoyer?
Okay. Let's just go into the assumption that that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's not make that the goal.
True.
Is to have Brian Hoyer be your guy, because he is a journeyman, and while he did play fairly well, he flubbed it in the playoffs.
That's true. The Texans have never won the playoffs, have they?
No, they have. Because they had those couple of good years under Matt Schaub.
Were they good years?
Yeah, they were. They
winning the. Oh no!
They went to the playoffs.
They haven't won at home in the playoffs. That's what it was. Because I remember seeing that stat line. I was like, oh, they never won the playoffs. Because remember they lost to who did they lose to in the playoffs? It was Cincinnati, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It was
Patriots at one point. I remember my seeing.
No. I mean last year. Who did they lose to the playoffs?
The Chiefs.
That's who it was. It was the Chiefs.
So if you look at the Houston Texans, they made the playoffs last year, which is good.
Yeah.
However, that puts them at pick number 22 in the draft. I have seen mock drafts that have Carson Wentz falling to that point. I cannot fathom a world in which a legitimate starting quarterback prospect falls to 22. If EJ Manuel doesn't get past 16, I think there's no way in hell that Carson Wentz even gets close to 16.
That's why he's not even starting now. It's our boy from Virginia Tech. Actually, from the Denby area actually.
Tyrod
Taylor.
Yeah, exactly.
Go Tyrod.
Yeah, go your boy. But yeah, they can't hope to land Carson Wentz at 22, and they certainly shouldn't reach for Connor Cook at that point. And then after Connor Cook, who are you going to get?
If they do get a quarterback in the draft, I mean, again, it is a thing where it's like, yes, Brian Hoyer's a journeyman and whatnot, but let's be real here for a minute, though. It gets to a thing where it's like, if you get a quarterback, you can just get him, kind of like train him for a year and whatnot, get him used to the system, and then you throw him out in his second year.
They're ready to win now, though.
That's true. No, I agree.
That's a team that made the playoffs with Brian Hoyer.
Barely.
Yeah.
Because Indianapolis collapsed because they have no one besides Andrew Luck on that offense.
Yes. It's also a bad division right now. We talked about the Titans are improving. The Texans, they need to capitalize on the fact
Jacksonville's
that nobody
improving
else
too.
in that
Jacksonville's
division.
made some moves
That's
recently.
right. That's right. They need to capitalize on the fact that nobody else is claiming that division except for the.
Yeah.
We'll see what the Colts do, but they had a bad year. We don't know what's up with them.
I'm curious about what the Colts are going to do, honestly, with these offseason moves.
So yeah, I'm gonna say a good move by the Houston Texans to look at Brock Osweiler because there's nobody that's gonna be available in the draft for him. All right, last good move, bad move.
All right.
Samuel Bradford was signed to a 2-year contract worth $35 million to the Eagles in lieu of getting the franchise tag. So Zach, is that a good move or bad move by the Philadelphia Eagles?
Bad move.
Bad move by the
I think
Eagles.
so. Yeah.
Why?
Considering how Bradford did last year, I don't know. I think it's just. I mean, let's just be honest too. Bradford struggled in St. Louis, and he struggled in Philly. It's just a thing where he's not a starting quarterback. He is more your backup quarterback. I don't think they should have paid that much for him. I would say, if anything, you either release him, or you get someone, or you go to the draft. I wouldn't have done that. I would have gone a free agent. I would pick a free agent quarterback over Sam Bradford. I don't like the move. He just has never been able to prove it to me that he could be a NFL-ready starter. He's never proven it to me, period.
I'm going to disagree.
God dang it.
Slightly. I'm going to say it's a good move by the Eagles, but you hate paying him that much money. You really do.
No, that's overpaid by a mile and a half.
Yeah, the fact that he's getting $35 million with, I think it was 22 guaranteed.
Jeez.
$22 million guaranteed.
He's not. I'm sorry. The thing is that he's not that good of a quarterback, and I know like the Eagles barely have anything there anyway. But let's just be honest here for a second. It's just he does not. He does not say to me. He has never rung out to me as someone that could lead a team. He's not your Marcus Mariota. He's not a Tom Brady. He's not even like a Colin Kaepernick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even Kaepernick's good years, he could still lead the 49ers. And he almost did lead into one of the greatest comebacks
They were a
in
throw
Super Bowl
away
history.
from winning the Super Bowl.
Exactly. It's like that would have changed honestly, Harbaugh winning that would have changed everything in San Fran. But he's never, to me, been able to prove he was a quarterback that could lead an NFL team to the top. He's never been able to prove that to me, and the fact that he's getting $22 million, that's overpaid by a mile and a half.
I'm gonna still stick with my good move, because towards you're right. He not a lot in his history has shown us that he can be that kind of guy. But towards the tail end of the season, when he began to grasp Chip Kelly's offense and take control of that, he started playing well. And that's an offense that doesn't even suit his skill set. That's an offense that had Sam Bradford with his 10 ACL injuries running the read option.
I will say that's another thing. The reason why I don't like it either. He is very injury prone. He has never been able to find a way to stay healthy. And it's a weird thing to say that about athletes out there and find a way to stay healthy. It's like, how can you find a way to stay healthy? But it's like, you got to take those kind of precautions. You're the one that has to do the proper stretching and whatnot. He's never been able to find a way to stay healthy. He's had shoulder surgeries. He's had the ACL injuries and whatnot. Yeah, I mean,
He's pretty beat up.
he is a beat up dude. He's like our G3, in that sense.
But I think, hopefully, Doug Peterson will be able to do more with less with Sam Bradford's skill set. Just like he did with Alex Smith, he was able to elevate Alex, who is kind of a good quarterback, but not great by any stretch of the imagination.
See, that's the funny thing. Everyone always knocks Alex Smith.
Right.
But legit, though, he's a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback.
He never got the chance, and this is one thing I'm always being mad about with Harbaugh. He started to prove himself in a way with the 49ers. He got a concussion and was replaced by Kaepernick. When he was cleared, they kept Kaepernick. Yes, in the end of the day, that was a good move, but to me, then that said a lot about Harbaugh, because Harbaugh's like, I don't even trust him as my starter. Let's get rid of him. And look what he's done with Kansas City under Andy Reid. They won 11 straight, or 10 straight.
10 straight.
They won 10 straight last year, made it to the playoffs. They whooped up on Houston, and I mean, there were moments where it was kind of a little bit close with, just a tiny bit close
Yeah.
with the Patriots. They got their butts whooped, but still, though, look what he was able to do with them. And now look at him with Kaepernick.
But all right, yes, Alex Smith is a good quarterback. Nobody's talking about him in top 10.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I would
put him at like number 11.
He's a
right
very good game manager.
I would put him at number 11. He's right there. He needs a little bit more improvement. I bet he could be a top 10.
He's a very good game manager. I can't see top 10. I just don't see it. He doesn't do enough. But yes, if you look at the Sam Bradford deal, a little caveat to that is that the Eagles are picking at 13 before the Rams, who have been sort of tied to Paxton Lynch a lot in the offseason discussions.
Yeah.
So if the Eagles wanted Paxton Lynch, who before this whole thing happened, I thought he would fit Chip Kelly really well, but obviously no Moss.
Well, he might go to San Fran.
That's true. San Fran's picking before all of them. But if you wanted a Paxton Lynch, you would be able to get him.
Yeah.
One would think.
I'm so shocked how bad of a season Baltimore had. They just had a horrific season.
They did. Poor Joe Flacco got left the team early, and they never really recovered from that.
No, they didn't.
But all right, let's Zach. Do you want to talk a little bit of hockey?
Sure.
Let's talk a little
Ducks
hockey.
still rock, even though they lost to the Caps.
That's true. A lot of teams
we lost to them in the shootout. But can I be honest though?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm really proud of when it comes to that is that at least it was a shootout. It wasn't like, because the Caps have had come from behind wins, and it sucked because the Ducks scored within the first minute of the game off the late penalty, and then the first minute of the third, the Caps tied it up and went from there and whatnot. I mean, but can I be honest though, seeing this as a and I can say this now, seeing this as a potential Stanley Cup final matchup for the Ducks, because that's how they've been playing. I'm like, you know what, we could make that run.
Yeah. And like we've been talking about, I don't know if anybody else in the East is going to make a move.
Yeah, it was impressive to see the Ducks play against the Caps. Because, and the thing, though, is that, let's be honest, too, both teams, they shut down their respective top scorers. The Caps did their best to isolate Corey Perry, and the Ducks barely gave Ovechkin any room. Yes, Ovechkin still did get shots on goal, but they were very straightforward, and, he really couldn't do anything with them, So, I mean, I give the Ducks a lot of credit for that. And like I said, the fact that it was a shootout, not a blowout or anything like that, I think that says a lot about what's going on with the Cows right now, because they're really tired. This is their fourth. I think because they're playing the Kings tonight. It's like their 5th game in 7 days or like 8 days. Like they've been traveling a lot lately, and the Ducks are at home still. They're on a homestand against Colorado, and this is what the Ducks need to help, like I said, get into 3rd in the Western Conference, because if the Blues lose tonight to Chicago, the Ducks will be tied with them for 3rd. And again, you think about how crazy that is. At the 25th on Christmas, they were 12th in the West, and they could possibly be 3rd by the end of tonight. That's unbelievable.
Right. The run that they've been on is flat out incredible. And like we said about the Capitals, they have almost a 20-point lead on the Lightning for first place.
I mean, can I be honest, I just wouldn't be shocked if the Caps did just lose in the playoffs, though, because I mean, legit,
that would suck.
That would, but they don't have that kind of experience. They don't. Yeah. They don't.
But the Lightning absolutely do.
Oh, they do.
And they're right there.
The Lightning, the Rangers, even the Bruins. These are some stacked teers when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah. Let's see how everybody's playing.
And
playing
to me, the biggest thing is this. So when you look at the Caps, great goal scoring team, basically the best team in this league, bar none this year. There is, though, one caveat. I add to that, an asterisk. Mm-hmm. They have TJ Oshie up there. Mm-hmm. TJ Oshie is one of the best players in the league, period. Mm-hmm. I will put him in my top 10.
Yeah.
And he's definitely the best American player.
You won't get an argument from me. Well, you'll get an argument from me on that. Come on, man. Zach Parise?
Yeah, I know. Parise is big, but...
American boy.
But here's the problem, though. Oshie is horrendous in the playoffs. He is bad. I think in 19 career games he's had with the Blues, because he left the Blues in the offseason, I think only like 1 goal in 19 games for the Blues.
Which is not going to cut it.
It's like the whole thing with David. It's like I remember when we were talking about this baseball offseason talk right quick, was the whole thing with the Red Sox signed David Price.
Yeah.
He's like an ace in the regular season, but then in the postseason, he just is a horrific. Like, you're talking about a guy that goes from like a 196 ERA to like a 482 ERA in the playoffs. It's like, what happened? And it's the same exact thing. And the thing is this. Yes, Backstrom and OV have been able to get a lot of things done in the regular season and the playoffs, year in and year out. I agree with that. And Holtby is really starting to come out as one of the top goal goaltenders in the league. But you look at the East, and yes, it is a weaker conference compared to the West. You look at how much tighter the West is and whatnot. And that's the other point I want to make too. But first with the East, experienced teams like the Rangers, the Bruins, Tampa, who made it all the way last year and just lost to a more experienced team. They still are a good team. They're second. They're second. Look at the Florida Panthers, who come out of nowhere and are like fourth in the East, especially in behind the leadership of Jaromir Jagr, who has won cups.
Yeah,
let's be honest about this, Ray. He has won Stanley Cups. And then you look at the West. Look how stacked Chicago is. They lost so many guys from last year's championship team, but they're still on top of the West, or they're right there on top of the West because they're Dallas on top right now. Mm-hmm. Dallas is a good team. The Blues are a good team. The Ducks have somehow resurrected themselves. Even the Kings, even the Wild would have a chance to beat the Caps. Mm-hmm. And it is all because of the fact that if you lose one of your top goal scorers in the playoffs, that is a huge line of production that is gone. And without that, you need to pick up the slack. And the Caps don't have anyone else to pick up that slack. That's what I'm saying. Yes, the Caps can make a run to the Stanley Cup. Yes, they could win. It is on the shoulders of TJ Oshie and who shows up. Is it going to be the Blues postseason TJ Oshie, or is it going to be this year's TJ Oshie in the regular season that has been unstoppable? Right. That is the question the Caps have to face when it comes to these playoffs.
Good. That's good analysis right there.
Mm-hmm.
For context, the Eastern Conference playoff picture right now is looking like Washington, Tampa Bay at 2, New York at 3, the New York Rangers, Boston Bruins at 4, the New York Islanders at 5, Florida Panthers at 6, rounding out your division winners or leaders, Pittsburgh Penguins at 7, and the Detroit Red Wings at 8. Over on the western side, we have Dallas, Anaheim at 2, Chicago at 3, St. Louis at 4, the Kings at 5, San Jose at 6, Nashville at 7, and the Wild closing it out.
There you go. There's your Wild. They're right back in it.
This is going to be really
2-point lead over the.
This is going to be a really good playoffs, especially in the West.
It's going to be a really good playoffs. It's going to be a really close race to the end. Yeah, you guys are you're literally going to watch 2 games a night, Colorado and Minnesota.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I can't wait. This is going to be one of the best NHL playoffs I think we've seen in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I honestly do hope if it's someone from the West, I hope the guy's not LA or Chicago. I'm getting so tired of that back and forth.
I'm tired of that, yeah.
Because you're like, God dang it, stop. Chicago wants to go to Anaheim and whoop up on them in the question.
Yeah, I would love nothing more than to have a first round matchup be against Chicago and just absolutely take them down.
Like sweep them.
Just ruin them 4-0 right now.
F them.
Yeah. Like, they have no chance of coming back. They're done. All that winning they've been doing is going to be swept aside by one series.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. NHL season going great.
Oh,
you know what else is going great, Zach? Draft season.
Yeah. The Combine finished up.
The Combine finished up. The Combine, very helpful in establishing athletic ability.
Yep.
I think Laramie Tunsil, who the Titans are looking at, he probably cemented his status at number 1 over the weekend. But let's talk about everybody's favorite position, running backs.
All right, let's do it.
Because everybody loves running backs.
Yeah, sure.
To me, running back is the hardest position to project in terms of draft order because we think about guys who have first-round talent, and there are guys who I'm like, man, I'd love to say you're a second-round guy, but with the way that the running back position has been devaluated, it's like you have second-round talent, but you're probably a third-round or a fourth-round kind of guy.
And let's be honest, too. I mean, when it comes to running backs, too, there's a lot more factors in it compared to quarterback. With quarterback, it's either you're a pocket passer or you're a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
With running backs, it's can you run inside between the tackles? Can you run outside? Can you find the holes? Are you explosive?
You're are you down?
Speed guy. Are you downhill runner? Are you a third down back? What kind of back are you? That's there is a lot more
preference.
Yeah.
For teams. And
a lot harder to figure out how these guys are gonna do.
Yeah. So let's talk about this draft class here.
Okay.
I only looked at 6 running backs because I think the class is kind of meh.
Yeah.
Much like everything else. The one thing that is not meh by any stretch of the imagination is Ezekiel Elliott from Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
If you ask anybody in the league, he is absolutely 100% a top 15 talent in this draft. He's one of the best running backs in the generation.
Do you think he could be like the next Adrian Peterson in a way?
Yes. He absolutely could.
Cool.
And some teams, I've heard reports, some teams have him as their best player available in the entire draft. Obviously, he's not going number one. That would be extremely unlikely. He's probably not going top 10. That would also be extremely unlikely.
What is like the Titans were like, oh yeah, we just signed DeMarco Murray, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're gonna trade DeMarco to someone else. We're gonna get Z. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Now we've got 2 good running backs for the price of like 4. So Ezekiel Elliott, he blocks well. He catches the ball well. He does all the little things. He doesn't fumble a lot.
He's your perfect all around.
He's pretty perfect. He's pretty damn perfect. He's a great runner, not to even mention that. And the one thing you have to do to get on the field is pass protect, and you have to catch the ball out of the backfield.
I was about to say that is the other things that people don't kind of consider when it comes to running backs.
Yeah.
One is you have to make sure you can protect your quarterback. Because if it's a play action fake one, you got to make sure you can protect if need be, and then get open, and then get some first down yardage.
Yeah, blocking is so important and probably underrated in the eyes of most fans, but blocking is incredibly important. Catching and crap, what was that third thing? There was a third thing, Zach. There was a third thing. Oh, don't
Blocking,
fumble.
catching,
Don't fumble.
Yeah.
He has all those things in spades. He's an amazing talent. I think you don't be surprised if he goes
He could go top
15-ish, 20-ish, I think is roundabouts where he's expected to go.
I mean, I'm looking at the list. Like, he could also go top 10. I mean, there's some teams that do need a good running back. Like, I'm looking at, like, come on. Dallas could use a guy like Ezekiel.
Yeah. Yeah, they could.
I think we'll talk about that next Wednesday about, like, who we think certain guys will go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to get a mock draft in here at
yeah.
some point when I
Sounds
finish
good.
my evaluations. But, yeah.
Maybe.
For reasons I'll explain later, Dallas cannot draft Ezekiel Elliott.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, I can see the Colts at 18, the Jets certainly at 20.
Oh, yeah.
The Redskins at 21, the Texans at 22 if there's no quarterback there. There's a lot of teams that need really good running backs.
Oh, yeah.
And Ezekiel Elliott is a really good running back. Rounding out that list is
The good list.
yeah, it's a solid list, I think. Certainly no wow factor.
Yeah.
But my second quarterback running back is Paul Perkins from UCLA.
Wow,
I think
over
he
Derrick
could be
Henry.
an early third guy. Oh yeah, we'll get to him later.
Nice.
He's an early third guy. He's got power. He's got speed. He's got agility. The dead speed is less than ideal, but he certainly has enough. Yeah, he's an average blocker. I think that's going to drop him down,
Yeah.
and his running is
So,
not great.
late first, early second,
Early third.
early third.
This is
Wow.
one of those guys who I'm like, you have second round talent, but I just don't know where you're going to go. That's
It's the
hardest
blocking that
thing.
drops to the third.
Well, no, I think he has second round talent. I think he does, but who's going to take him there is the question. I think he could go in the second, but based on what I know and what I've seen the past couple of years, third is more likely.
Gotcha.
I also have Kenneth Dixon from Louisiana Tech,
Wow.
who is a guy, he was a dark horse for me when I came in to my evaluations. I almost didn't do him because I thought it was kind of a joke that a Louisiana Tech player was
Good.
yeah, but I mean, he really is incredible. He's got great vision. He's got great jump cuts. He's a good receiver. He has power. He's got speed. He's elusive. He's got all sorts of athleticism.
So what's the big negative?
He did play against low-level competition, and that matters for running backs a lot.
Yeah.
His acceleration is kind of a small concern. He has hit or miss blocking. I don't think it's too much of a concern because he can do it. And he wasn't great in tight spaces in between the tackles. I think he's more of your outside guy.
Gotcha.
But I think he's the only other guy that could go in the first or second round. I think he's a second-round guy.
Gotcha.
After that, we have C.J. Prosise.
Oh, you have all these guys above Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Wow.
C.J. Prosise.
Controversy.
C.J. Prosise from Notre Dame, who was my personal favorite guy. He's fast as all hell. If you watch some of his tape, he's flat out amazing. If you watch other tape, he's very mad because you can tell the game against Temple, for example, they were really keying in on him. They made the decision that he would not get the football. Yeah, go ahead. At 5, we have Devontae Booker at Utah, who is a tremendous talent, obviously. And all these guys are right in line, middle third, late third, possibly early third if a team likes them. But, yeah, they're all right there neck and neck. They all have a lot of the same skill set. And then rounding out my evaluations was Derrick Henry, the Heisman-winning running back from Alabama, who runs with such high pad level. And he's not really that shifty. Of course, he has power when
He's
he
more
gets
your
going.
straight line runner.
He is. He's a straight line runner. He's a third down kind of guy. Very akin to a Mike Tolbert.
I was about to say, do you seem like Jerome Bettis, the bus?
Yeah, very bustish. Obviously, that's his ceiling,
Yeah.
one would say. But he's not that fast. or rather, he doesn't have good acceleration, so he can't get to that top speed.
Yeah.
And like I said, he runs very high, meaning that his legs aren't down. He's not ready to make a jump cut or make a move. That's going to hurt him in the NFL. And typically, I don't like to do this for any other position or kind of person, but Alabama running backs have typically not worked out. If you look at Mark Ingram, Eddie Lacy, Trent Richardson. Well, I don't like to do that for anybody, but USC quarterbacks and Alabama running backs.
Guess that's not good though. You always say so much crap about Eddie Lacy.
Yeah.
Partially, I think it's because I'll be honest. I think half of it is because he's from Green Bay.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, though, he did have a bad season.
Yes.
But he's had some good seasons in the past.
He's had some good runs. Again, he's Derrick Henry. But would you take Eddie Lacy in the first or second round? Because I wouldn't.
I would have taken him in the second. I think in middle second or top of the second, I would. If my team, if we needed a running back, yeah. Because that's the thing. Because you have to understand. Because one of the things I always see, and I know running out of time, real quick though, is that it's like you always want to try and have two types of running backs. The one that can do your outside stuff and whatnot, or that is your fast one, and then one that is your slower guy but your power guy. You look at that's why the Steelers were so good in their 2006 Super Bowl win over the Seahawks, because they had, I can't remember who the other running back was honestly, but they had that fast. They had someone who was like kind of quick, could do some cuts. They had Jerome Bettis who just smashed it down on your third down. So I mean, right.
So now you're saying you need two running backs. I'm certainly not taking half of a running back in the second round. No chance.
But I do think though. I think someone is going to take Derrick Henry first round. I think it is going to bite them back.
I think it's possible, yeah. I've seen Broncos. I've seen Panthers.
We'll see.
I don't see it.
Panthers might take him because it'd be like, a good third down back that could help them out.
It's certainly conceivable. A lot of people like him.
Definitely knew that in the Super Bowl. Anyway.
That's all the time we have. That's actually more than the time we have. Sorry, I get excited about the draft.
Oh, you're fine. So next week.
We'll
have more NFL free agency news.
A ton of NFL free agency. Yeah. We're probably going to talk some basketball. I meant to get some of that today, but we kind of ran out of time. Cool. But a lot of good stuff. Tune in and watch us on YouTube.
Have fun, Captains. We'll see you guys here actually on Friday, when it will be the Super Uber Video Game Hour with me as host and John as my co-host. We'll be talking about video game news that has been happening the past couple weeks.
Yeah, we got some good stuff on the docket.
Oh my God, it's been going crazy. So thank you guys for listening as always, and we'll catch you guys around.